We had a big jump in Treasury bill stop rates at yesterday's auction. Let's take a look at the numbers. February the 7th, of course, look, across tenors, we had 2 plus 4, 200, 400, a trillion naira that was offered in total. And a subscription, for the 364-day to the right of your screen, 1.86 trillion, over 3 times oversubscribed. In fact, same issue with the 182-day, 200 billion offered. No. That was 76 billion that was the subscription. So really, the story is the 364-day to the far right of the screen, 1.86, and also the prior stop rates at 5%, 7.15 and 11.5 across tenors. Look at the current stop rates at the bottom of your screen. A big jump. And we're going to be talking about that with Ajibola Tobi-Osho, who is the Vice President of Treasury Sales and Dealing at Zedcrest Capital. Good morning to you. Happy New Year. Good to see you again. What do you make of this spike in rates?
Well, it was very clear, right? For the auction this week, what was scheduled before the calendar came out was about 417 trillion, and that was what market expected.
Yeah.
But then on Monday, we got a new offer shared out to the banks and issued $1 trillion. Of course, coming out to say you want to offer $1 trillion on Treasury bills will spook the market.
Yeah.
Immediately the secondary market rate went up and people got confused. What's going on here? What's happening? But what we can say we are seeing is the collaboration between the CBN and the DMO. Right? The CBN has said last year that they are focusing on tackling a whole lot of things, including inflation, price stability, and the rest. Right? And we know one of the key factors to achieving that is encouraging making interest rate go up so that it can encourage inflows of FPIs and FDIs, as it may seem. So this seemed like the work towards the part of CBN, ensuring that market rate is a bit reflective of the MPR rate, right? So it wasn't surprising that we saw this, right? Offering a trillion in a market that was expecting 417 trillion. Of course, people would go in all out to quote it as aggressive as they think it can get. So that's what we just saw.
Okay, so you're mentioning what the CBN is trying to do. So is liquidity mop-up part of this story?
No, I don't think so, because
we
floating this market was not even very liquid. As a matter of fact, coming into the week, market was just liquid by about maybe 20 billion or thereabouts. So it wasn't like the market was very liquid when they floated this, but we expected that maybe they were going to do a bit of CRR refund to fund this auction and all. Like I said, the target was focused on taking interest rate up. To attract foreign investors.
Okay, good. Well, okay, great point. So looking at the range of bids, you have the 91-day there from between 7 to... And in fact, I want to even compare this now with the prior stop rate. So the prior stop rate for 91-day, 5%. People were bidding from 7 to as high as 17%. Prior stop rate for the 182-day in the middle, 7.15. They were bidding between 4 to 19%. And my favorite was the 364. Prior rate, 11.54%. Bidding as high as 29.94. What do you make of the range of bids?
So what you need to know is that in an uncertain market, when you're not just certain, you would have the people, the real buyers, and you have the speculators. People that just want to see how high can they get, how high can this possibly get. Let me test my luck, right? So that 29.94 we can say is a bit unrealistic, but what if? Do you understand? There's a bit of what if when you're trading and given that it's a multiple win, it's not like a one win bid where if you all win at one bid, you win at the bid you went for. So this is just a test, I would say.
Well, okay, but if we bring inflation into the matter, right? Headline inflation was 29.8, I think food inflation, but losing headline, if the CBN is serious about compensating investors, 29.94 does beat it.
29.94. The effective yield of 29.94 is about 40-something%.
Okay, that's correct.
Because this is still discount, right? So by the time you mark it up, it's a lot. If you have to beat the 29 you're talking about, the real the discount rate should be like 22.5. So. 19% is actually a very good yield to hold. If you do the conversion of that should be like 24, 25 in terms of yield. It's a fine one.
Okay, so on that note, we have the next Monetary Policy Committee meeting coming up. Benchmark rate is 18.75. If the market, I don't know what you expect, but the market expects another rate hike since inflation is so high. So if they do hike, then do we see a corresponding increase in yields?
Right now, market is going to be a bit reflective of MPR rates. That has been the target of the Cardi B, as we call it,
yes.
in the market. Right? That has been its own target. That has been its own target.
Yes.
Target to a bit for the market to be a bit reflective of MPR rate.
Yeah.
But it's still a function of demand and supply. If they continue to supply this much of volume in the market, of course, market will play along. Move along with the slide.
Everybody's calling him Cardi B online. It's Nigerians always come up. We've gone from Mephi to
very creative names.
Okay, look. If we go back to the table, the difference in basis points, I guess the rates, like for the 91-day. At what? Where were we at 91 now? 17.24, 18. So that's what, 180, maybe 180 something basis point difference between the 191 and the 364. And then you have just 100 basis point difference between the 182 and 90. Okay, so if with that small difference, right, as far as the timely, if I'm going to get 17% and then a higher effective yield on my 91, would I not know?
You don't want to do that.
Yeah? Okay, tell us.
So your investment should be guided based on your horizon. If you invest in the 91 days, you're exposed to reinvestment risk. That means that if your investment mature in 91 days, what if there are no investment?
Come down and so on and so forth.
If you know that you are not in need of the money, you have like something you are not ready to use the money for and you're using it for in a year's time, why not just pick the 1 year? That's why you even see some people not even come for treasury bills. They rather go for bonds because if they see bonds at 18%, why would I not just invest in a 30-year instrument at 18% rather than do it 1 year at 19?
Gotcha.
Your investment horizon drives how you invest most times.
Hey, Lucy, and we do our best to tell people to invest in. When people come and ask us, how do I make money here? How do I make money? Can you sell this to people? Is it not a good idea to diversify and invest in T-bills and bonds?
Of course.
Nigeria, are you listening?
Like we said, if you convert, the effective rate is beginning to make sense, right? And it's beginning to look like something can be sustainable with your Naira holding. So rather than you just, all this thing is just a bit to reduce the flight to dollars, right? And if you're giving me this in Naira, why not?
Exactly.
Even I had to invest in it because it's a good one to buy. It's a very good one to buy.
Now, again, at the primary level, isn't it what, 50 million or what's the minimum? But
you can actually do retail size as low as 500, 1 million. Speak to your asset management, like you said, I work with asset management.
There you go.
I work with an asset management. You can invest in an asset management, your bank. Just call up whoever is managing your account for you, and then you ask that you want to invest. It doesn't necessarily have to be 50 million.
Fantastic. Actually. So Nigerians invest. The securities are there. Wait, you mentioned bonds. Do you think rates on bonds will be heading in the same direction?
We have an auction. The calendar is not out yet, but we are thinking maybe before MPC or after. If it's after MPC, of course, that would be reflective. But maybe before MPC, maybe not so much. But market is already bearish in its life, so we expect that to flow into the bond space.
What do you, with this kind of hike, and trading has already begun on the NGX, what do you think, will this impact equities, or an equity investor say, wow, let me take out some of my money,
I would expect a bit of that, right? Because first of all, the risk-free rates, assuming, which is treasury bills, always, every other rate should pick from that. And if I think that at the end of the day I'm going to be earning like 22, 23% yield, why can't I just beat a bit of it in treasury bills? So I expect a bit of that. I expect some of because last year when we saw a lot of flight into equities, it was majorly because it was giving more returns compared to the fixed income market. But now that fixed income is already showing good signs, of course there will be a lot of...
There's also a federal government retail savings bond. That one opens up at the beginning of every week, just 5,000 naira. So again, I'm just wondering whether rates across the board will be pulled up.
I would expect that. If the short term is already... I would expect everything to move in line. But maybe not proportionally. We might end up having an inverted curve, but regardless, everything should move in line and should go up. Yes, please.
All right. I want to take you just slightly away from money market securities and bonds and so on and so forth. While Arise News was in Davos, there was a business roundtable where Wale Edun, the Minister of Finance, repeated something he said before, that the government wants to incentivize Nigerians that have DOM accounts and Nigerians overseas to bring those dollars back into the economy, which, to my mind, he hasn't given details, but they suggest that there might be some interest-bearing offers. Zedcrest and all the other asset managers of the world, even banks, already offer interest-bearing dollar-denominated securities. So We're speculating here. That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
What do you think the government could do here? I mean,
so the question is, who would you rather give your money to?
Right.
That's the question.
Yeah.
The Zedcrest, the banks, and all these other parties that give you incentive or give you whatever, they invest this money to somewhere. Where do they invest it in?
Right.
So at the end of the day, it's just the way banks still give you fixed deposits,
right,
but you still
right.
see people buying treasury bills.
Right,
exactly.
right.
So it's just going to be, I would expect it to be maybe a domesticated dollar note where they just give you, it's more like treasury bills but in dollars or something.
Yeah.
So I mean, at the end of the day, it's still going to play its own term. Some people will tell you, I'd rather invest in government at 10% than invest in private company at even 12%.
Yeah.
It's all about preference and your risk profile, to be honest. So of course they will still get traction. I believe it will be positive.
I guess we're asking everybody, have you seen the whole, I mean, I know the exchange rate, where things have been going.
Yes.
I know we're in a period of price discovery. How have you guys at Zedcrest been monitoring matters with the exchange rate?
That's a hard one. I mean, it's been a very, very tough time, and I sympathize with a lot of people, business owners, because taking business decisions has been very, very tough. You don't know if rate is going to drop on you. You don't know if rate is going to go up on you. But at the same time, you just have to be forward-looking too. In making your analysis, you have to look into short-term, medium-term, and long-term, right? So that you don't get caught up in a fix that you don't want to be. So that's why we also always encourage diversification. I mean, have a bit in dollars, have a bit in naira, so that way you earn when there's interest rate movement in the. When there's currency movement in dollars, you also earn in your naira when you're placed it in the right place. Rather than just leaving you see a lot of people leave naira in the bank account at 4%. Why are you doing that?
It doesn't earn anything.
Why are you doing that? Why?
Yeah.
Why? At the minimum, get something small that can even protect you.
Right.
Before you then be exposed, because at the end of the day, you're fully exposed to currency risk and you're earning just 4% in your savings account. Why would you do that? Exactly.
And this whole, again, can you speak to people who say, I don't have much money?
No,
I mean,
there's nothing like that. Okay, take Zedcrest, we have an asset manager, Zedcrest World. We also even have an app. Take that app, for instance. You can put as little as 10,000 naira inside and you still get something.
Yeah.
So we're saying, it's not the point. The point should even be far from you don't have money. As ridiculous as 10,000 is, as it may sound like, how much can I earn in it? Right. Imagine leaving it in an account that you're earning 10%.
Exactly.
It will run out into something. So let's just. I think that's what clogs people's mind when they think that it's just 10,000 and let me leave it in the bank. Trust me, if you're able to leave it in the bank, then leave it in the bank where you know you're going to earn something.
Something. Okay, so looking at the environment that we're in now, are we on a rates climb? I mean, as you look at the outlook. I mean,
for the first half of the year, we should expect that, right? We should expect that the CBN, would try to, at the minimum, keep it at some certain level. I'm sure they have a level in their mind that they would, of course, they will not discuss with anybody here, but once they get there, they'll kind of stabilize it there. In, I think, 2016, thereabout, when we first had this devaluation, rate in the secondary in the market for treasury bills were around 18.5.
Yes.
It steadied for almost 6 months or thereabout. It steadied, and during those period we saw growth in our inflows of. That was the period where FBIs were coming in, bringing in dollars because they wanted to take advantage of the carry trade environment. And trust me, all those people are still really interested in emerging market, because this is where they can make the best of their monies at. I mean, if you look at the outside world, what's the best they can make? Putting their money in USD to make 4%. Yeah. They still yearn for all these structured transactions that enhance yield, and also, of course, but if they are able to stabilize it at this level, we should see a bit of improvement in the economy.
Always great talking to you about fixed income money markets. Ajibola Tobi-Osho, who of course is the Vice President, Treasury Sales and Dealing at Zedcrest Capital. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you.